In 1519, the Portuguese naval officer and explorer Ferdinand Magellan led a Spanish expedition to find a western route to the East Indies and reach the Moluccas or Spice Islands in present-day Indonesia. The fleet of some 270 men in 5 ships left Spain on the 20th of September 1519, sailed across the Atlantic and sighted the strait that now bears his name, allowing him to pass through the southern tip of South America into the Pacific Ocean, which he named. The fleet performed the first ever crossing of the Pacific, stopping in what is today called the Philippines, and eventually reaching the Moluccas, accomplishing its goal. A much depleted crew finally returned to Spain on the 6th of September 1522. Magellan died in battle in the Philippine Islands on the 27th of April 1521. The following is a series of extracts from the translated journals of Antonio Pigafetta. The extracts describe the many weeks of interactions between Magellan, the crew, and 11 to 12 foot tall giants. We pick up after the fleet has successfully crossed the Atlantic Ocean and has arrived in Rio de Janeiro. The said country of Varzin, Brazil, is very abundant in all good things and is larger than France, Spain and Italy together. It's one of the countries which the King of Portugal has acquired. Its inhabitants are not Christians and adore nothing but live according to the usage of nature, rather bestially than otherwise. Some of these people live 100 or 120 or 140 years and more. We remained 13 days in this country of Varzin, and departing from it and following our course, we went as far as 34 degrees and a third towards the Antarctic pole. There we found near a river men who they called cannibals, who eat human flesh, and one of these men, great as a giant, came to the captain's ship to ascertain and ask if the others might come. This man had a voice like a bull, and whilst this man was at the ship, his companions carried off all their goods which they had to a castle further off, from fear of us. Seeing that, we landed 100 men from the ships and went after them to try and catch some others. However, they gained in running away. This kind of people did more with one step than we could do at a bound. In this same river there were 7 little islands, and in the largest of them precious stones are found. This place was formerly called the Cape of St. Mary, and it was thought that from thence there was a passage to the Sea of Sul, that is to say, the South Sea. In past time in this area these great men named Cannibali ate a Spanish captain named John de Sola, and 60 men who'd gone to discover land as we were doing, and trusted too much to them. In this place we endured a great storm and thought we should have been lost, but the 3 holy bodies, that is to say, St. Anselmo, St. Nicholas and St. Clara, appeared to us, and immediately the storm ceased. Departing thence as far as 49 degrees and a half in the Antarctic heavens, as we were in the winter, we entered into a port to pass the winter and remained there 2 whole months without ever seeing anybody. However, one day, without anyone expecting it, we saw a giant who was on the shore of the sea and was dancing and leaping and singing. Our captain sent one of his men towards him, whom he charged to sing and leap like the other to reassure him and show him friendship. This he did, and immediately the sailor led this giant to a little island where the captain was waiting for him. And when he was before us, he began to be astonished and afraid. He raised one finger on high, thinking that we came from heaven. He was so tall that the tallest of us only came up to his waist. However, he was well built. When he was brought before the captain, he was clothed with the skin of a beast, which skin was very skillfully sewed. The captain caused food and drink to be given to this giant. Then they showed him some things, amongst others a steel mirror. When the giant saw his likeness in it, he was greatly terrified. After that, the captain gave him gifts and sent him back on shore, having him accompanied by 4 armed men. One of the companions of this giant, who would never come to the ship, on seeing the other coming back with our people, came forward and ran to where the other giants dwelled. These came one after the other and began to leap and sing, raising one finger to heaven and showing to our people a certain white powder made of the roots of herbs, which they kept in earthen pots, and they made signs that they lived on that and that they had nothing else to eat than this powder. Therefore our people made them signs to come to the ship and that they would help them to carry their bundles. Then these men came who carried only their bows in their hands, but their wives came after them laden like donkeys and carried their goods. These women are not as tall as the men, but they are very sufficiently large. 6 days after, our people, on going to cut wood, saw another giant with his face painted and clothed. He had in his hand a bow and arrows, and approaching our people he made some touches on his head and then on his body, and afterwards did the same to our people. And this being done, he raised both his hands to heaven. When the Captain General knew all this, he sent to fetch him with his ship's boat and brought him to one of the little islands which are in the port where the ships were. In this island the captain had caused a house to be made for putting some of the ship's things in whilst he remained there. This giant was of a still better disposition than the others, and was a gracious and amiable person who liked to dance and leap. When he leapt, he caused the earth to sink in a palm depth at the place where his feet touched. He was a long time with us, and at the end we baptized him and gave him the name of John. This giant pronounced the name of Jesus, the Pater Noster, Ave Maria, and his name as clearly as we did, but he had a terribly strong and loud voice. The captain gave him gifts and sent him back to where he'd come from. He went away very joyous and satisfied. The next day this giant returned and brought one of those large animals before mentioned, for which the captain gave him some other things so that he should bring more. But afterwards he didn't return, and it's to be presumed that the other giants killed him because he'd come to us. 15 days later we saw 4 other giants who carried no arrows, for they'd hid them in the bushes. The captain retained the 2 younger ones to take them to Spain on his return, but it was done by gentle and cunning means, or otherwise they would have hurt some of our men. Then the captain had some irons brought, such as are put on the feet of malefactors. These giants took pleasure in seeing the irons, but they didn't know where to put them. Immediately the captain had the irons put on the feet of both of them, and when they saw that they were striking with a hammer on the bolt which crosses the said irons to rivet them and prevent them from being opened, these giants were afraid, but the captain made them a sign not to doubt of anything. Nevertheless, when they saw the trick which had been played them, they began to be enraged and to foam like bulls, crying out very loud, Setibos, that is to say, the great devil, that he should help them. The hands of the other 2 giants were bound, but it was with great difficulty. Then the captain sent them back on shore, with 9 of his men to conduct them, and to bring the wife of one of those who'd remained in irons, because he regretted her greatly, as we saw by signs. The other giant, whose hands were tied, struggled as much as he could to unfasten himself, and to prevent his doing so, one of our men struck him and hurt him on the head, at which he got very angry. However, he led our people there where their wives were. Then John Cavaggio, the pilot, who was the chief conductor of these 2 giants, would not bring away the wife of one of the giants who'd remained in irons on that evening, but was of opinion that they should sleep there because it was almost night. During this time, the one of the giants who'd untied his hands came back from where he'd been with another giant, and they, seeing their companion wounded on the head, said nothing at that moment, but next morning they spoke in their language to the women, and immediately all ran away together, and the smallest ran faster than the biggest as they left their camp. Our men had crossbows and guns, but they never could hit one of these giants, because they did not stand still in one place, but leapt hither and thither. 2 of these giants, being rather a long way off, shot arrows at our men, and fighting thus, one of the giants pierced with an arrow the leg of one of our men, of which he did not recover. After that our men buried the man who'd been killed and set fire to the place where the giants had made camp. When these giants have a stomach ache, instead of taking medicine, they put down their throats an arrow about 2 feet long. Then they vomit a green bile mixed with blood, and the reason why they throw up this green matter is because they sometimes eat thistles. One of the 2 we'd taken and who was in our ship said that the blood didn't choose to remain in the place and spot of the body where pain was felt. When one of them dies, 10 or 12 devils appear and dance all round the dead man. The greatest of these devils is called in their language Setibos, and the others Chelaule. Besides the above-mentioned things, this one who was in the ship with us told us by signs that he'd seen devils with two horns on their heads